So it's exactly what
Sayonara.
Yeah, but look, Pops, we gotta cut that segment short. Listen, guys, we got my main man here, my main man, 50 grand. We got Angelo Leo. What's good, man?
How you guys doing? How you doing? I'm doing great.
Good to see you, man. It's actually great to see you. I'm happy you hopped on.
Yeah, thank you. Likewise.
Thank you
yeah,
so
man.
much.
Got a big fight coming up. I mean, I'll be there in Plant City next week.
Okay.
Mike Plania, man. How you feeling about it?
Oh man, I'm feeling great. Wrapping up camp, everything's going good, everything's going smooth. Just crossing our T's and dotting the I's, and that's about it. And we're ready to go for it next Wednesday.
Absolutely, and it's so great, right? Because you were a fighter that for like 2 years you were kind of like you were inactive. You were to the boxing world. I mean, I know you, but to the boxing world, you kind of became a little bit of an afterthought because like, where's Angelo Leo? You're not one of these guys that's on social media talking a lot. Mm-hmm. So now you got 2 fights and what is it, like 3 months now? So like I'm sure it's got
3 months.
That's got to feel sensational.
It does. That's what every fighter dreams of becoming a world champion, but also being active.
Yeah.
Like they say in boxing, a fighter could get old overnight. So it's important you stay active, you stay in the gym, and that's exactly what I did. I'll stay in the gym, and that's why I was able to put on a great performance like last time.
Yeah, and speaking of that performance against Nicholas Polanco, you kind of ruined it for a lot of fighters, man, that have inactivity because you had 2 years inactivity, and I actually think you looked about as sharp as I've ever seen you look. Mm-hmm. What do you feel like mentally like leveled you up as a fighter? Because the Angelo that I saw in the Polanco fight was significantly different than the Angelo I saw in Houston when you fought Aaron Alameda.
Yeah, no, you just keeping that hunger, keeping that hunger, and not being able to break me. A lot of fighters will get discouraged after not fighting for 2 years, but me, I've always had that dream of becoming a world champion and also succeeding that in becoming a 2-time, 3-time as sky's the limit for me. So I'm trying to do the best I can in my career and leave no stone unturned in my career. And so that's what I bring into my training every day is that hunger that's what you need to become a world champion.
No, 100%. Like I remember very vividly when I was as I was in Vegas a lot, like 2021, 2022. And right, so I seen you spar a number of times. And I remember telling you, I said, man, Angelo, you got a good jab. I seen it in sparring when you would spar certain fighters. Yeah. You got a really good jab. You got to trust your jab more. So it was good to see like in the Polanco fight, you finally starting to like, trust your boxing skills a little more because you do have boxing skills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it just takes a little bit more experience, a little bit more comfortability for some fighters. And in this case, I've always had those attributes, but now that I'm older, I'm more mature. Those wrinkles are starting to show in my game.
Yeah, like in that fight, I remember with Polanco, you kind of walked him down in the Philly shell. I'm like, what the heck is this? When did he have this?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like people don't realize the fighter that I am. It's going to take a little bit more time for me to get comfortable in it. But now, I've reached my prime. I'm 29 years old. I'm in the prime of my career right now. So you're going to start seeing those wrinkles. You're going to start seeing those different looks in Angelo Leo.
Yeah, man, it's got me real fired up. I know throughout this whole layoff, like you were sparring a lot of fighters. I did ask you about this when I interviewed you in Plant City, but I wanted to ask you about it again and go a little deeper. Yeah. You sparred Shakur Stevenson, one of the more skilled technical fighters in the sport. Was that like a sparring session where your confidence was further validated that like, look, I knew I was one of the best fighters in the world. I've been champion, but now sparring like him, I know even more I'm one of the best fighters in the world. Was that like a sparring session where you felt that way after?
Yeah, in sort of in a way, but I've always had that mentality that I have that world champion pedigree.
Yeah.
So, sparring him, it was just like, I could be in there with, top guys, Shakur Stevenson, he's a top level fighter. So me being there with them, handling my own, he's also a heavier fighter too. So, it does give a little validation, but I've always had that championship mindset. When you have that mindset, that's all that matters.
No, 100%. Like, was he hard to hit in the ring? Because like on the outside, it looks like he barely gets touched. So like
Yeah.
from when you're actually in there with him, like what makes Shakur Stevenson like so hard to hit?
His distance. He has good
Yep.
distance control. He knows how to control the distance, and he's got a good footwork to move him out of range. A good side to side movement, and yeah, that's about it. But he was everything I expected. Because
Okay.
I've studied him. I've watched him fight before, and I've known what to expect. So it wasn't nothing like too crazy. It was everything I expected.
Okay. You feel like maybe if he fights like a tank like that, he'd be able to do that for like 12 rounds? Because I don't think he'd knock him out, so he'd have to probably outbox him.
Yeah. So that's a different story right there. Because Tank is also southpaw.
Because you spar a
Tank.
tank, so you have good perspective on that. Like,
Yeah. Tank is definitely the harder puncher. That's for sure. Tank has good ring IQ as well. He has good ring IQ as well. He's snappy, he's explosive, and when you have that type of power, like they say in boxing, it only takes one punch.
and you get your light switched off any moment,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah. But kind of getting back to you, man. You're back now. You're like shooting up the rankings, like you're just ascending up the rankings. You were like, there was one time I checked, you were like 13, and then I came back a couple of days later, you were 9. Now you're 9.
Yeah.
So, if should you take care of business against Plania, I would be led to believe you're going to be in the top 5. You'll be right there knocking on the door of a title shot. And there's a big title fight on March 2nd. I know you're aware of it. Otabek Kholmatov versus Raymond Ford. How do you feel about the winner of that fight, and how do you think you match up against both those guys?
I would like the winner of either one of them. Whoever the winner may be, I'm up for it. That's like I've always said, the main goal is to become a world champion, no matter who it is. If it's Raymond Ford, we watched him before. Otabek, we watched him before, and I know I have a good team. I have a great team, so they'll come up with the game plan for me and myself. I'll do the same, do my due diligence, and we'll figure a way how to beat them.
Okay, all right, yeah, because I think you versus either one is a really good fight.
Yeah, it is.
Especially you and Kholmatov. I like that matchup a lot. It's a good.
Kholmatov is good. Kholmatov is good. Also, Espinoza. I like Espinoza as well for me.
I'm so glad you brought that up. That was gonna be a question I asked because
Yeah.
he's a WBO champion. You were WBO champion at 22, so maybe like I don't know how that works. Maybe you could use your X status as a WBO champion to maybe get that fight.
Yeah, that's a possibility as well. I think winning this fight will put me in more of the rankings with other sanctioning bodies. So let's see how it plays out. But it's looking like WBA. I'm ranked number 9 in the WBA, so they might go that route. But hey, this is boxing. You never know.
Yeah, things change hour to hour.
Yeah.
Forget day by day. They change hour to hour. So we'll see how it goes.
I mean, look what happened right now. Like you see, Rolly was supposed to fight Ryan. Ryan was supposed to fight Rollies and whatnot, and all of a sudden, boom, Rollies fighting Pitbull. Now Deloya, now Ryan, they're mad. See, that's just the way boxing is. You never know,
That's,
So
that's how it goes.
it's a cutthroat business. A lot of snakes in the grass in this game.
Well, you know what? Well, you brought up a good point. You said there's a lot of snakes in the grass, man. We're not gonna out nobody or talk bad about anybody, but as far as the boxing business, because I do know that you were a fighter that was affected by it for a couple of years. How do you feel like? What advice would you give to like I guess like the younger fighters on how to navigate the sport? Because everyone knows like the fighters always focus on the fighting, but they don't realize sometimes until they're actually in it that maybe the being business minded and having a good team behind you is just as important as having a good jab.
Yeah, exactly. My advice would probably be get a lawyer. You
Yeah.
always want to have a good lawyer. Have a lawyer that could read a contract well, and with that, that's all you really need in this sport. Because when you're able to understand the contracts and the clauses that that these managers and these promoters have, then you're able to navigate the way you want and steer a career the right way. And not get suckered by the money, not get suckered by, this and that. And just a lawyer is everything in this game. So that's what I give. That's the advice I give to the younger fighters.
Okay. We got a question for you, Angelo. My man David Esther. He says, Angelo, have you ever seen Eduardo Sugar Nunez fight? He's at 130. He said you better stay away from him.
No, I don't know who that is. To be honest.
He's this Mexican fighter who signed. I think he signed to Eddie Hearn. He has a lot of knockouts.
Okay.
I've seen him fight. I don't think it's anything to worry about if you were to go up there. But you're not 30, so there's no.
I'm not 30 yet, but eventually, our plan is to move up to 130. So hey, hopefully in the future we meet up with them. But right now, focus on 126, getting those titles at 126.
And Mike Plania.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you know about Mike Plania? Because I know like he burst onto the scene when he beat Joshua Greer when Greer had a little name in boxing. But like what do you know about Plania and what kind of fight do you expect?
Yeah, that's the first time I actually seen him too, was when he fought Joshua Greer. I know he's explosive. He's got a good hook. He's got some pop in his punch. But I do know that he lost to Raiz, and he lost to what's his name, the last dude.
Plania.
What's his name? Yeah, no.
Elijah Pierce.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, Elijah Pierce.
So he lost to him, and no, but he's aggressive. He's aggressive counter puncher. But we got a game plan for him.
Okay, good game. I'm sure it's a good one. I know your dad. He's like the evil professor, man. He knows. The bad professor of boxing.
He's the mastermind. Between both of us, and my whole team, we figured out a good game plan, and I think we should get the W next Wednesday.
Okay. We've got another question for you, Angelo. This guy asks, have you ever thought about going to 122 again if they have 100 million in yen? I don't know much. I don't know what that translates to in dollars, but
man, I couldn't make a 122 even. Yeah, no, I don't think I would do it.
Yeah, you can't make 122 at all, right? Like that's
122 is too difficult. I really sacrifice a lot with my body, and honestly, it's to the point where like it's not good for my health.
Yeah.
Not just boxing wise, but for like health reason wise. I just think 126 is where I feel good. 126 is not too difficult to make.
Yeah.
But it's still difficult, but it ain't like where I'm, killing my body like the way I was at 122.
Yeah, I remember. I was there with you when you fought Alameda, so I literally saw how, like your eyes, like you're all sunken in and whatnot. So
yeah. I mean, you seen it. You see how I look like,
And you made it on the dot. Like when you fought Alameda, that was your last fight. It was literally on the dot.
Yeah, 122 on the dot.
So, no, you can't go to 122. But as far as your weight class, right? And around your weight, because there's a lot of Japanese fighters, not just Inoue, but even like I don't know if you know Hayato Tsutsumi. He's like ranked right below you at 10.
No, I haven't heard of him. No.
Yeah, he's just like he's this Japanese fighter. He's like I think he's 4-0, like one knockout. He just scored his first knockout. But he's like a really good boxer, really good technical fighter, But
okay,
I wanted to ask you, Angelo, like as far as whether it be Inoue or whoever else, you feel like you got an advantage when you fight these Japanese fighters compared to most fighters from the USA because you've got a lot of sparring with Japanese fighters. Like I know you sparred Subaru Murata, I know you sparred Tenshin Nasukawa. Do you feel like that gives you an advantage with the Japanese style?
Yeah, I've kind of picked up on their style a little bit as far as as far as the way they move and all that, and they're all pretty similar, to be honest. Like they're all real similar. They're great fighters. Don't get me wrong. All of them are great fighters. They're very technical by the book and all that. But I've got a taste of like how they move and all that. So we could kind of gauge a little bit of how they
operate.
How they operate. There you go.
Yeah. So like if you had to explain it to somebody, like what is the Japanese style? Like how would you explain it as somebody who's been in the ring with the many Japanese fighters?
I would have to say like they're kind of like, I guess you would say textbook.
Okay.
You could say textbook. Like they're real. Everything's like real crisp. You're not gonna see like a lot of like
looping shots,
a lot of like overhands or like coming from like swinging from like all different angles like Maidana. You're not gonna see that type stuff with the Japanese.
Yeah, no gunslinging.
Yeah, exactly. It's more
Yeah.
like ba 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 ba.
Okay.
Yeah.
My man Hiro, he wants to know from you, Angelo. He says, can you recreate the knockout you did to Glen Porras to Mike Plania? Remember that knockout? I know you
Oh
remember it.
yeah.
Out there at Samstown.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. You
Yeah.
guys gonna have to tune in. We'll see.
Gotta tune in, man. Gotta tune in. That was a good knockout. I remember, like, you kind of like you were in the pocket, you went backwards, you angled backwards, and then you put
Right.
a left hook to the liver and you stopped him.
Yeah, no, it was like a setup with the right uppercut and then a body shot. Kind of like, it's a classic Mexican combo.
Yeah.
You've seen it. You've seen Canelo throw it. You've seen Chavez throw it. You've seen all of them throw it.
Yeah, it is a classic Mexican combo. Speaking of Mexicans, I know like one of the Mexican fighters from back then, like Daniel Zaragosa, he beat up a lot of Japanese fighters, and seeing as that you're Mexican and you're gonna probably have to fight a lot of Japanese fighters, you might wind up being like the next Daniel Zaragosa.
Yeah, I know Zaragoza. He fought a lot of Japanese fighters, and so did Finito Lopez, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know if he fought a lot, but I know he did fight a
Ricardo
couple.
Lopez actually knocked out Inoue's promoter. He knocked out Hideki Ohashi.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. I think you were telling me. Yeah.
And Zaragoza, he beat I don't know if you know Juichiro Tatsuyoshi. He's like a legend out there. In Japan.
No, I don't.
I learned who he was when I went to Japan. Everyone was like, "Do you know Juichiro Tatsuyoshi?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't know who that is." But he knocked him out, and then he knocked out another Japanese fighter, Kiyoshi Hatanaka, who was WBC champion. So
okay, I see.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Speaking, I gotta ask again, man, because like after your fight, I know you were kind of in a rush because your adrenaline's pumping. So I got you. I kind of got you now more in a relaxed state. But
yeah,
I wanted to really like pick your brain because I talk about it. I do mention it a lot in my videos, man. Like I really do want to see you fight the monster. Like I really do think that's gonna maybe not right now because he's still at 22 and you got business to take care of with Plania and other guys. But I think he's gonna do what he's got to do. I feel like you're gonna do what you're gonna got to do, and I feel like that's gonna want to become one of the best matchups at featherweight down the road. So
I do think so as well.
How do you feel about that fight, man? Because when I bring it up, the Inoue fans they judge you off of what they've seen against Stephen Fulton and Alameda, and they don't know how you are now. But like, how do you feel about that fight?
Oh man, I love it. And that's what I'm here for. Challenge myself. I know Inoue, he's probably one of the top 3 pound for pound fighters in the world right now, depending on who you ask. And me fighting him and beating him will put me in that superstardom. Will put me in that superstar status. And I love the matchup. I love the matchup. Like you said earlier, I've sparred a lot of Japanese fighters. I know how they all kind of fight similar, but of course, Inoue's in a whole different level. But I'm up for the challenge, and I love that fight for me.
Yeah, and I know you even sparred Marlon Tapales before, who fought Inoue. Did you see anything? Well, first of all, what did you think about that performance from Inoue? And did you see anything that in that fight that maybe said you looked at it and you said, you know what, I can do this better than Marlon. I could exploit, X, Y, and Z against Inoue. Did you get any confidence from that?
Exactly, I did, and I don't think Inoue looked as good as he did against Fulton in that fight. People got to realize that Tapales, he does punch pretty hard. He could crack. But I seen some kinks in Inoue's armor that I can exploit. Me being a bigger fighter, he is fast. He has a good right hand and all that. But we can all combat that. We all can combat that. I have a different style that he hasn't seen. And I think it would be a great matchup.
Absolutely. As far as like him, I know that one thing because I actually had a chance. I know you've seen it because I sent it to you. Donaire, I interviewed Nonito Donaire, who I know you sparred a lot, and he even admitted in the interview that you were the first guy to put him down in sparring with a body shot. But he said that he feels like you have a style where you could put Inoue on his back foot, smother him, and you have the gas tank and all those things. Would you agree with that assessment, or do you feel like there's other things aside from that people haven't even seen yet that also could be to his detriment if you fight him?
Both, both.
Yeah.
I do agree with Nonito, and I also agree that I have different looks too as well. If I need to switch it up and move around and box him, we could do that as well. But if we need to stay in the pocket, and make it rough in there, we could do that as well. Whichever way. People know they've seen the fight against Fulton. They've seen the fight with Alameda. With Alameda, I was able to adjust a little bit, use the angles, move around, and with Fulton, it was just kind of come forward, just in the pocket the whole time. So, and Polanco was a whole different me in there, and I was able to show a different snap, a different pop in my punch, and it'll be a great matchup.
Yeah, you feel like it'd be one of the best fights in boxing?
I think so. I honestly do.
Yeah, because he's got high IQ. I know you got a high IQ, and so I got my fingers crossed, man. I got my fingers crossed. Just y'all both keep winning. And
I like that one. Yeah, as soon as he moves up to 126, I want that fight.
Yeah. Well, would you go to Japan for that fight, or would that be a fight where it's in the USA? Or
oh man, that's a good question.
Does it really just depend on the organizers and what's presented?
I think what's presented. What's presented. But I would love it to be here in LA or Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm so glad you said it like that, because I thought since the Top Rank signed him, like they haven't really promoted him much in LA. And I know I used to live out in LA. I know you're familiar with the area. And I
used to live in LA. There's a lot of Japanese there. There's a lot of Mexicans there.
There you go.
And I think fighting there would be great. Would be great. It'd be in a basically neutral ground, because I'm from Vegas, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and all that. And of course he's gonna be a star anywhere he goes, because he's Inoue.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what, man? And I'm not just saying this because like you're my friend and we're cool, but like I genuinely think you're gonna be a star too when it's all said and done, and people will catch on. I think so. And I thought that for quite some years now. So we'll see how it goes with Inoue. But we got a couple of questions for you, Angelo. Actually, we got a man right here. He says, "Could we see you on PBC on Amazon Prime? There's a former champion with a hot sister." So I think he's talking about Brandon Figueroa.
Oh yeah. Okay. Can we see? All right. Yeah. It's a high possibility. I just leave it at that. It's a high possibility. I mean, we're open to whichever avenue. Whichever avenue is presented to us. If the money's right, if everything is right, then we could go for it. But if not, there's other avenues.
There's plenty of other avenues. One of those avenues, and this guy right here, he said he wants to see you fight Magsayo. He thinks that'd be a great fight. And I know
Magsayo, okay.
I know you fought some Filipinos in the past. You fought was it Glen Porras?
Glen Porras,
Murodjon Tabano. Yep.
Murodjon, yep. Yeah, so I fought quite a few of them already.
Yeah, so you pretty much know what you're getting yourself into with the Filipinos. He's fought Nito plenty,
They, I guess they know who I am too out there in the Philippines. Yeah.
Do you have a lot of Filipino fans?
I do actually. It's a lot of Filipino fans. Shout out to all my Filipino fans. But yeah, I do. Okay.
Now Enrique asked, "Who's your promoter?" We know who your promoter is. Your promoter is PROBOX, right? You're with PROBOX.
PROBOX.
I did watch the interview you did with my brother Nez from the Boxing Voice. Shout out to him. And he kind of asked you about the details of your contract. I guess I'll ask the same question, because PROBOX is a smaller company, Angelo. So the question would be, why PROBOX? Why PROBOX over like Top Rank or Matchroom or these other companies?
Yeah, they're just they're a smaller company, yes, but they're able to focus on my career a little bit more. Whereas Top Rank, they got a lot of fighters and all that. And I think they're real focused on steering me the right direction to get to that world title, and as well as they're they're not just closed off to one partner or one collaboration, as you know, like Top Rank or PBC or DAZN. They're kind of open to all of them. So that's a good thing to have right there.
Yeah, they have that flexibility.
Right.
Okay. As far as like the actual contract and stuff, I know when you did the interview with Ness, you said it was a multi-year deal, right?
Mhm.
Like, so do they pay you, like, is there a set amount they pay you for a fight, or how does that work with ProBox compared to, like, let's say when you were with PB or maybe other promotions?
Yeah, no, it's just through contract. Whatever they present me on the contract.
Okay, just a flat
Mhm.
number, like you're making X amount of dollars this fight, you're making X amount of dollars that fight
Exactly.
type
Yeah.
thing. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Um, when you fought Polanco, the right after you got out the ring, you met up with a great fighter, Hall of Famer Juan Manuel Marquez, and
Mhm.
you know, I saw you when you posted it on Instagram. It kind of blew you up a little bit on Instagram, that the whole
Yeah,
interaction you
yeah, it
had with
did.
him. For people that didn't see that interaction that you had with Marquez, so what exactly did he say to you?
So basically, I went up to him, asked him like, you know, he congratulated me on my fight, and then I asked him any advice you could give me, and he just told me, you know, I hit really well to the body, and I
Mhm.
have a good overhand right, but why not throw more than just that overhand right after that punch, you know, followed up with several punches after, and that's basically what he said.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was cool to see you guys talking to each
Yeah,
other.
it actually went viral. That's what's crazy. It's like right now, I think it's like at 5 million views right now.
No, bro, because I remember when you said 5 million.
It's at 5 million right now.
Jeez,
Yeah, yeah, it's
jeez,
crazy.
man, you doing better than me.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all because I had posted it on TikTok, right?
Okay.
And TikTok it didn't really take off. But I posted on Instagram, like next thing you know, I wake up in the morning and it's got like 1 million views or like 800,000, close to 1 million. I was like, oh snap, it's
No,
crazy.
no, super crazy. Because like I remember before you posted it. I mean, I don't remember what your follower count was, but I just remember like I came back a couple of days after you posted it, and your follower count was like higher. I noticed that it was
Yeah.
higher, and more people that I
Uh-huh.
knew in boxing were following you. I'm like, that I
Mhm.
know were following you, and I'm like, okay, that's good for him. He
Yeah.
needs something to go viral.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of followers. To this day, I still get a lot of followers from that
Yes,
video.
that's good, man. You know, we need more people should know who Angelo Leo is, because eventually, you know, I know you do want to fight in Albuquerque. I know that's a big thing for you. I don't know
Yeah, I do.
what's the big venue, like. If you were to fight in Albuquerque, like what's the big venue out there? Like, what would be the dream venue?
Mm, it'd have to be the pit,
The
either
Pit.
the pit, yeah, where the Lobos play, where
Okay.
the college basketball team, that's their stadium is the pit, or I would have to say the Tingley Coliseum.
Okay.
Yeah,
Who plays there?
Tingley Coliseum is more like it's just like a stadium
Just events, just random events.
for events for like they do boxing, they do MMA, they also do like rodeos, um,
Okay.
things of that nature.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, man, because I did see it. It was kind of funny because I had a feeling that this was gonna happen. I saw that a dude in your old weight class called you out, Elijah Pierce.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was basically saying like, "You're fighting my scraps, Mike Plania, because he already fought Mike Plania.
Mhm.
Why don't you get in the ring with a real dog or something like that?"
Yeah.
What was your overall take on, I guess, Elijah Pierce calling you out?
I thought it was funny, you know. I just thought it
Yeah.
was funny because, I mean, he's just, like if you put it that way, then he took my scraps, you know,
When you fought Jermaine
in
Williams.
Tremaine Williams, yeah. So I took Tremaine's I take Tremaine's zero, and if he wants to get that fight on, we can get it too. I'll take his two.
Okay. Oh, you said I'll take his two because you got to.
Yeah, I mean, I took Tremaine's zero. I'll take his two.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, be a good fight. I know.
Mhm.
I think he'd move up for it because he's fought at 130 before, but that'd be an
Yeah,
entertaining fight. I know he talks a lot of, bro. He talks a lot of shit. So,
I
but
heard, I heard.
yeah, he brings like props to the weigh-ins. Like he brought like a dude a walker one time. He brought Mike Plania a stripper. He bought the
Oh, yeah.
McDonald's thing. Yeah, he's crazy. But
That's
you know,
funny. That's good for the sport, though. You know, it brings excitement. You bring entertainment. So
we need guys like that. We need guys like Elijah Pierce in the sport.
yeah,
So
of course, you're always gonna have like that. You're always gonna have people like that in this game.
yeah. So you know that could be, you know, one for the future. That added to the list of options. You know.
Right.
Yeah. Got a couple questions for you, Angelo, my man, right here. He says, or he's just more of a statement. He said, "I think he should work with Golden Boy because he's Mexican, and then that's what they want." I mean, he was pro box, but
Yeah.
was that ever in the car? Like was a Golden Boy ever a possibility? Like, was that ever a possibility at any point in time? You and Golden Boy?
Me and my team, we had talked about it. We discussed it, but nothing really came to fruition about it with them.
Okay. And then he also asked you, Angelo, is it hard fighting southpaw? Is it harder fighting southpaws or slick black fighters? I think that's a question. Yeah.
Neither one of them. I got the style. I got the style to combat them. So
all of them. You're a complete fighter.
All of them. Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Like what kind of? There's no style. Bro, you've been boxing long enough, right? Because I mean, there was this one video. I was looking for it actually. There was this one video on Ellie Setback channel from when you were like, you know, to use the South Florida time. When you were a jit, bro. Like when you were a kid, you were outside the gym with your boy Paul Ponce, and
right.
It was like you were like, how old are you? Probably like 7 or 8 in that.
No, but I was in high school.
Oh, you were high school?
Yeah, I was in high school.
Oh,
yeah.
you look like a kid.
I was like, yeah, no. I look young. Like even to this day, everyone thinks I'm like. I tell them I'm 29. They think I'm like 21, like 22 years old. But no, I was in high school at that time. I think I was a sophomore, so I was like 15, 16 years old.
Yeah. But no, I'm saying I'm bringing it up because I'm saying you've been boxing from back then, so you've seen every style. Like at this point, you shouldn't be like if you go to the gym to spar or if you go to fight. I'm sure you're not one of those guys who says, "Oh, I don't want to fight him because you have this style." Like because that does happen. In boxing.
Yeah. Nah, like I've seen it all pretty much. I sparred the slick fighters. I sparred the southpaws and all that. I sparred like the counter punchers, the aggressive, come forward fighters, and I've seen it all. So like. Nothing really surprised me at this point. I got a lot of experience under my belt. So, I mean, you know, with me, it all comes down to me. Like, if I train hard, I put my mind to it, like 110%, I know I could beat anyone out there in the featherweight division.
No, 100%. You mentioned fighting Vaquero earlier, right? Because I think there's 2 interesting fights out there for you. I mean, you got to focus on Plania, of course, but like, you know, so when you were champion, right? You had Murodjon, who was champion, right? When you had the belt, he was champion, right? I know he was champion when you had the belt.
I believe so. Yeah.
And then I know Navarrete was also champion while you were champion, right? I could be wrong, but
I think he was a 126 champion.
Was he 126? Maybe I'm getting it mixed up.
Yeah, because I won the vacant title.
You're right. You're right. But like, I look at those 2 fights down the road, especially the Murodjon fight, because there's all that history because you guys had that infamous sparring session that was on Dante's channel at Johnny Togo's.
Yeah.
I would like that fight, man. You and Murodjon, because I always thought that was a good fight for you.
Yeah, that would be a great fight. You know, if it moves up to 126, I like that fight. Whoever it may be, you know, I know Brandon Figueroa was at 122 as well at one point. Mm-hmm. I would like that. I like that fight as well. But you know, whatever makes sense, you know.
Whatever makes sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm gonna ask you this question, Angelo. A lot of times when fighters they become pro or they start boxing as kids, they love it, it's pure. Then they become pros. Then the business of boxing kind of sours them. And I feel like you're at a stage now where you kind of already seen it all. You've been through all the highs and the lows of boxing, being champion, losing in the title fight, being business of boxing. Now, do you still love boxing? Like is the love still as pure as it was maybe when you were a kid?
Of course, that's what I've always had, that love for boxing. You know, the sport of boxing is a beautiful thing, but the business is dirty. You know, the business is dirty, and you just gotta take it for what it is. You know, this is what we signed up for. Mm-hmm. You can't take nothing personal in this sport, and you just gotta roll with the punches in this game. No, you know, 100%. and that's it. That's what I did these last 2 years that I hadn't fought. That love for boxing has always been there. If not, you know, I would have quit a long time ago.
Yeah, no, of course. Mm-hmm. For me, this is that was a rhetorical question because I know you. I've watched Fights That We Talk frequently, so I know you love boxing, but I had to get it on record for the
you just wanted to see that. You want to pick my brain and all that.
Yeah, I want to pick your brain, man. See where your head is at. And I know, like, what you come from New Mexico, like your name is already going to be in the history books, like when you hang the gloves up, because you're the first New Mexican Albuquerque champion since the Danny Romeros and the Johnny Tapias when you beat Tremaine Williams. But I think so. Our friend Johnny, right? I talked to our friend Johnny a lot.
Yeah.
And he told me, and you can tell me if this is correct or not, but he told me that your one of your trainers, Luis Chavez, who's been with everybody in New Mexico, he said that apparently Luis Chavez once told Johnny that he thought that you were better than Johnny Tapia and Danny Romero or something like that.
I think he did say something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he did say something like that.
Yeah, and I know you talked to Danny Romero too, from time to time, right? You used to talk to him, or?
I do. Yeah, I got his number actually.
Okay.
He messaged me here and there. I have he follows my career on Instagram and TikTok and all that. So yeah, he's real cool people.
Okay. Has there been like any gems or pieces of wisdom as far as being a fighter that Danny Romero has told you that maybe helped you as a fighter or even as a person?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I know he did talk to me when I fought for the world title, but I don't quite remember anymore what he had said, just because I was focused on my fight. But if I go back to the message, I could probably find it. But no, I always study Danny Romero. Like when I'm bored, when I have nothing to do, I'll go on YouTube, throw on one of his fights, study him and all that. And it's just different, it's just different because I know he's from New Mexico. He's from my hometown. I'm like, to this day, even me being a world champion, like I still look up to him. I still see him as like, oh wow, like I could get something from him. I could, even Johnny Tapia, I could all get like something from them as far as their style.
No, of course. I think like Danny Romero, similar with his style was it wasn't exactly similar to yours, but I feel like he was kind of like you, just doesn't have the angles. Like he didn't angle off to the side as much or any of that.
Yeah.
And he was probably, as far as one punch knockout power, I think he was probably a harder one punch guy. You beat these guys up and just wear them down, but
with punches, punches, body shots, and all that.
Yeah, but he's
Danny used to train really hard. From what I heard from Rudy Chavez, that he used to do a lot of calisthenics, a lot of strength and conditioning. That's why he was just so strong.
Yeah, of course. I know, like early in your career, like and a lot of these fights, some of them are on YouTube, some of them aren't. But like one thing that in the conversations we've had and whatnot, I know one thing that's been said is that like these guys that you fought early in your career, they were tough. Like you fought some tough guys on these like New Mexico club shows. Like, can you tell people about that, those early years where you were like coming up in New Mexico and there wasn't a lot of fanfare and there wasn't any other promotions and you weren't in Vegas? Like what were those early club shows in New Mexico like for Angelo Leo, those early fights?
Oh man, it was just my first fight, my first pro fight was against Xavier Pacheco.
Okay.
And he had went to the nationals as an amateur, so he was a top amateur. He's a decorated amateur in New Mexico, and I think I don't know if it's nationals or what, but he was good. He was a good fighter. He went on to fight Joshua Greer.
Okay.
He fought some other names that were good coming up in our time. And Xavier was pretty good. I fought Julio Gomez my second fight, who was a tough fighter as well. In my third fight, I fought a guy that was 39 years old. He was 20 years older than me. Had 30-some fights, but he did have a lot of losses. But he was tough. He was tough as nails, and he just kept coming. He was like a bull. And I haven't had it easy in my career. I didn't have the pleasure of padded records or fighters that are being have the opportunity to be built up and stuff like that. I was thrown to the wolves right away.
You didn't have the red carpet treatment like some of these guys get, like because something I watch these shows on like Top Rank, Matchroom, Golden Boy, and I'm like, man, this guy's just getting not gonna say no names, but this guy's just getting world class treatment, like these easy opponents to pad the record up. But like, so do you think maybe that's why your knockout percentage isn't higher? Because when I watch you spar, and when I was standing like maybe 10 feet from the ring, 20 feet from the ring when you fought Polanco, so I'm hearing them shots. I know you're not no pillow fisted fighter, but do you feel like that's why your knockout percentage isn't higher? Is maybe those early fights?
Yeah, I think so. I think just the competition in my career has always been tough. So, it's always tougher to knock out tough competition like that. And I feel like I've also developed more as a fighter now. So now I've got like the man strength and all that, and I'm smarter now. But back then, I was still real young, so I didn't have that man strength that I do now. But no, I do think I should have more knockouts for sure, just because I fought not world class, but like tough fighters.
Live bodies, like real live competition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no fighters that came to lay down or anything like that.
Where you just hit them and they fall over.
Yeah, yeah.
We got a couple more comments, Angelo. My man right here, QC says, "Yo, what's happened to BT? Just tuning in. I never really watched Angelo, but definitely know about you from BT. He's always showing love and praising your skills. Wishing you a blessed year, my G." Well, look, man, QC, if you hear that I'm constantly mentioning him, then you need to watch his damn fights, man. Let's get it together, man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because you're like one of the guys I always talk about.
Yeah, you do. Shout out to you, BT.
Yeah, for sure. They want to know, have you ever done a camp in New Mexico? How are the gyms over there?
Well, yeah, my early career was all in New Mexico. It was all in Albuquerque, and the gyms there's not very much gyms out there, but there is a few. Some good fighters there though, for sure.
I mean, some good fighters come out of there. I know you got like yourself, Brian Mendoza, Austin Trouts came from there, Holly Holm. I know you got what's the girl's name? Shariah. You got her. She's pro now. So
yeah,
a lot of good talent.
Yeah. Right. There's great fighters out there. They just need that opportunity to shine. That's about it.
Yeah. Did you ever look up to Jon Jones?
Oh, actually, did I ever what did you say?
Did you ever look up? It says right here the question. Did you ever look up to Jon Jones?
He's from New Mexico. Jon Jones? No, I didn't, because he was part of UFC. I wasn't really into the UFC at the time, but I do respect him as a fighter. I know he's good and all that, but I had actually at my first job over there in New Mexico, he had walked into the restaurant, and he would always be there, and I guess like he would tip the bussers and the cashiers like $20 every time he was there.
Oh yeah, so he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
What job was that? What job was that? Where were you working?
I was a busser at a restaurant called Frontier. Okay, Frontier. It's a real popular restaurant out there in Albuquerque. If you ask anyone from Albuquerque, like where's Frontier or what's Frontier, so they'll tell you.
So if I go to Albuquerque to visit, is that somewhere I have to go? I know, like,
for sure.
There's that pizza spot. Was it Dino's? I bet you mentioned it one time. Dion's.
Yeah.
Dion's Pizza.
Go to Dion's, and go to Frontier.
Okay, Dion's and Frontier. Yeah. I'll put that.
Trust me on that one. Yeah.
On mental notes. I could be wrong. I remember when I was talking to you one time. Didn't you have a job like at Pinkberry?
I did. Yeah, that was my first job here in Vegas.
In Vegas,
I was working at a frozen yogurt shop called Pinkberry.
Didn't you work, like, weren't you working with like a fighter? There wasn't another fighter that was working with you? I can't remember who it was. We were talking about it one time.
I worked with my friend. He's also a pro fighter, Gabe Gabaldon.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it was. It was Gabe. It was Gabe.
Yeah. I worked with Gabe. But when I worked there was a lot of fighters that would come in. Surprisingly, Mike Tyson used to go there.
Yeah, what was that like? What was that like when you met Mike Tyson?
I was never there, but my friend Gabe, he would tell me that Mike would show up. He would get some yogurt. I also Jorge Linares was there one time.
Okay, you met him?
Yeah. I took a picture with him and everything there.
Okay, that's cool, man. So you've had an interesting journey, man. You went from the New Mexico club scene, like kind of in obscurity. Then you had jobs, like most fighters got jobs, and
yeah. So like, and not to mention, like, I had a whole year of just fights in Mexico.
Just in Mexico,
in Mexico, like Chihuahua, Mexico. Like, I fought Albuquerque, like my first 6 fights, Albuquerque, Colorado, around that area, right? And then I just had like a year where I fought in Mexico. I got 3 fights out there in Mexico.
What was that like? Because I mean, I never been out to Mexico for fights, but like, what was the Mexico fight scene like? Because I hear stories about it, but what was it like?
Yeah, no, it's those stories. Believe it, because it's true what they all say. You know, it's crazy out there. It's a different type of energy out there in Mexico. You know, they're real lively. They're loud, and if you're not good, they'll let you know.
Yeah. Did they ever let you know?
They knew I was. They went for their guy, of course. But you know, I got my respects out there.
That's good. That's good, man. My man Tank wants to know, and I'll ask this again. It's going to be on ProBox. So for those of you just tuning in, shout out to all 26 here. We got Angelo Leo, you know, one of the top contenders in the featherweight division. You know, the former 122-pound champion. You know, one of the best fighters in the world in my eyes. He's going to be fighting ProBox TV next Wednesday, right? Next Wednesday, January 31st. Yeah. He's taking on Mike Plania, you know, the tough game and very formidable Mike Plania. You know, if he wins the fight, then he moves up the rankings. And we're talking about big fights for him, you know, title fights potentially, or eliminators at least.
Right. Yeah. Tune in, ProBox TV next Wednesday.
Yes, sir. And then one thing I want to ask you about, man, because I seen you post about it, and you had a son recently, beautiful son. Yeah, what's fatherhood been like for you? Because I mean, I haven't had the blessing to become a father yet, but from your perspective, what's fatherhood been like? You know,
it's been amazing. It's been amazing, man. It's a different journey, for sure. It's brought a whole new motivation to me, as far as a fighter, as far as a person. You know, like I want to provide for him. I want to do the best I can and be the best role model I possibly can for him. You know, and no, it's amazing. You know, it's something words can't explain. But you know, it's a blessing, definitely a blessing for me.
No, 100%. I've seen a couple of times, like on your stories. Like I think I seen him in the gym one time. Is he be in the gym with you?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes this camp he did show up a few times. He did watch me train and all that, and he's actually starting to hit the bag a little bit.
Oh no!
It's pretty funny. Like I hit the bag, I punch it, and then he starts going like this to it.
Yeah, it starts banging on the back. So you know, he might try to be like, you know, the Tim Zoo of your family. You know.
Yeah. You never know. You
know, so we'll see how it goes. But
yeah,
they want to know from you, Angelo, too. Like, who gave you the name El Chinito? Are you part Chinese?
Actually, I am. To answer that question.
Wait, you are?
Yeah.
No, you're not Chinese.
Yeah.
Well, you went on Ancestry.com and they told you you're like, what, 0.5%
my
Chinese?
My great grandpa's from China. From my dad's side?
Yeah.
Yeah, so back like in the 1920s or 1930s, there was a big Chinese immigration to Mexico.
Okay.
And they immigrated to Mexico, and so that's the reason why I'm Leo. Like, you know, it's like Lee, but they wanted to make it more Spanish, so it's like Leo. And so
not Leal, like some of these people. I heard people butcher the name Leal.
No,
Angelo Leo.
It's not Leal. It's Leo, whichever one. I don't really care. Yeah. But you know, my great grandpa's Chinese, and that's the reason why I got the nickname, and I got that nickname from a friend out there in California. His name's Edgar. He's also a trainer. He used to train at the Who's Next boxing gym. He gave me that nickname. He was like, "Hey, Chinito. You always call me Chinito." And they gave me that nickname. A lot of people think I'm Filipino, just because like my features and all that. But no, I'm Mexican, and I have like a little bit of Chinese. That's why I look the way I look.
I mean, if I squint my eyes and when you get your haircut a certain way, if I squint my eyes and turn my head like 45 degrees, you could be, as Bob Aaron would say, Puerto Rican.
Oh yeah. You know what? I've actually gotten that before. Like they like, "Oh, you Puerto Rican?" I'm like, "No, I'm not Puerto Rican."
But yeah, I see. What's crazy is I've interviewed you so many times, and I you know, it's actually a challenge to interview because I know so much about you, and I feel like I've asked you everything. So it's actually impressive that I learned that I never knew you were Chinese. I never knew that.
Yeah. You didn't know that? That's crazy.
Like I knew that was your nickname, but I never thought that you were actually Chinese. I thought it was just given to you because you look Chinese, but I didn't know that you actually were Chinese.
Oh yeah. I'm a little bit Chinese, you know.
Damn, bro. Maybe you need to go fight in China. Get that Chinese
Right?
spin.
Yeah, be the next Zou Shiming there.
Yeah, Zou Shiming, but except you're gonna work out. Zou Shiming, he didn't work out.
He didn't work out. I sparred him
Yeah,
before too.
yeah. How was that? This sparring was.
That was man, I can't remember. That was 11 years ago. I sparred him
Yes.
like in 2013 over there at Wildcard.
Oh my God, yeah, because he was a big deal. Like
Yeah,
Bob Arum, bro. You
but
should have just
honestly,
told.
I
You should have
didn't
just
really
told Bob Arum
like.
you were Chinese, bro. He would have signed you right out the amateurs.
Oh yeah. Whatever happened to those fights they were throwing out there in Macau, China?
They just haven't had. I mean, they haven't had anybody to like bring out there. Like they haven't had anybody.
Didn't they have the Pacquiao Brandon Rios fight out there?
They did. They had well, I don't know Pacquiao. I know Pacquiao Algeria was out there. Pacquiao Algeria was in Macau. I
Was
don't know
it?
about Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if
Oh, okay.
Pacquiao Rios out there.
Maybe
Maybe the
I'm
chat can let
confused.
me know. But
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy, the pride and joy of all North Las Vegas, my main man Johnny Cortijo. He says
Oh, Jonathan Cortillo.
I'm about to hop in the
About to hop in
splasher,
the splash in.
and I
My
see my
guys.
guys, and he said, I just want to say that Ryan is not La Raza.
He's not La Raza.
Yeah, man. Hey, what's your take on that? Bill Haney. Bill Haney was having a field day with that Ryan saying Ryan ain't Mexican.
I just think it's funny. I just think it's he's just hyping up the fight.
Yeah, what qualifies someone as Mexican, right? Because I hear fighters, like I've heard over the years fighters argue about that. Like when De La Hoya was gonna fight Chavez, they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're not Mexican enough." So what makes someone a Mexican in your eyes?
Oh man, that's a tough one because it's all different for everyone. It's
That
all
could be a
different for every Mexican.
that could be a whole like 1 hour live in itself.
Yeah,
Angelo,
like there are some Mexicans that probably will not accept me because I'm Mexican American. There are some Mexicans that will, so it's just like it's a kind of subjective in a way. But for the most part, you got to be Mexican. Like if you want to be backed by all of Mexico, you basically got to be Mexican.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, be born there at least.
Yeah. So let me see. My man Hyro wants or not. This guy, he says, who's next, Jim? Did you ever spar Leo Santa Cruz?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually helped him out when he fought who did he fight? Eric Morel. He fought
Okay.
Eric Morel. I helped him when he fought Abner Mares.
Man. Okay.
Yeah. So I helped him with both of those camps, and yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy that he mentioned it. Who's next boxing gym?
That's always I mean, I know he's older now, and he's not like officially retired because he hasn't fought for like 2 years, so he kind of is retired.
Yeah.
But is that what about is that a fight that's ever been a possibility? Maybe you and Leo Santa Cruz, because I feel like that would have been a great name to get
that
a
was
resume.
that was something I wanted, and I still do want. If we could make it happen, I think it'd be a great fight. It'd be a good fight out there in LA, where there's a lot of where I have a lot of fans. He's got a lot of fans as well, and I think it'd make for a fun, exciting matchup.
I think so too. Let me see. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask. And this is probably one of my last questions for you, Angelo. Your dad, man. I'm a big fan of your dad. I think he's a great trainer. I don't think the boxing world really knows how great of a boxing mind your dad is, because your dad's not one of these dudes. I mean, I feel honored that he did the interview with me, but I'm saying he's not one of these guys that gets in the front of the camera, right? So like, paint the picture for people that don't know about how great of a trainer your dad is. How would you describe him as a trainer, and what do you think makes your dad a really good coach?
I just think my dad, he's a mastermind. Like he knows how to figure out a fighter. And he analyzes everything. He's really detail oriented, and he knows boxing. That's for sure. He's not like you said, he's not loud or he's not with the camera. He doesn't like all that hoorah, right?
Yeah.
So he's just really reserved to himself. But don't get it twisted. Like my dad really knows his boxing.
He does, man. There's this. Now you can confirm that. I don't know if this is true because I wasn't there, but I'm gonna run it by you. I heard that there was an incident. There was a time a long time ago when you guys, back in the day when you guys were in LA at the Wild Card gym, you guys used to train a lot with like the Benavidez camp, like the Jose and David. And this is back when like Jose was like a big deal in boxing, you know, when he was top amateur coming into the pros. And, and nobody knew who David was, just a fat kid. And your dad told Jose Sr. that, hey, like, David's going to be the one, not Jose. David is the better brother.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, watch. And this is years ago. This is before he was ever champion or anything like that. Did that happen?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I wasn't there, but my dad recalls it. And, you know, I don't think my dad would lie about that.
Yeah.
And, but look, he was right about it. You know, he was right about it, and it happened.
Yeah, he's been right about a lot of things. He's a great trainer, man. But look, Angelo, I mean, let's want to stay on. Is there anything you want to let people know about your fight coming up with Plania? Because I don't want to hold you up if you got other things to do.
No, I just want to let everyone know just to tune in January 31st. That's going to be next Wednesday. Whatever time zone you're in, do not forget to tune into that fight. It's going to be a great fight on the main event. And no, thank you for having me, BT.
No, thank you for coming on, man. You know you're always welcome. I love having you. I love talking to you just in general, even when it's not an interview. So
yeah. I mean, look, we just burned an hour right there.
Man. You came in. I think I was like 13 minutes, an hour. You know, It didn't even feel like an hour. And sometimes, you know, I watch some of your other interviews. I'm like, man, I can tell you sometimes we have that comfortability, that familiarity.
Right. And you asked me, and you asked me if I love boxing.
Yeah, you know, I know you love boxing. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Like one of these days, when you don't have a fight coming up, we may have to just do like a whole Angelo Leo special. We just talk about the history of Mexican boxing or like something like that.
Oh yeah. We could do that. I'm down for that.
We could do that. But all right, Angelo. Thank you, man.
All right, no, thank you.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Of course, you have a good one.
You too. So there you have it, man. You know, Angelo Leo. Make sure y'all tune in January 31st, next Wednesday on PROBOX. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. You know, him and Mike Plania. I really think, like, I'm gonna keep saying it. I feel like everyone needs to really start paying attention to Angelo because, you know, he's already been champion and the world still doesn't know quite how good he is, but I know how good he is and I know how good he's becoming. And I think he'll be one to watch in the featherweight division. So looking really, really forward to it. I can't, like, January 31st can't get here soon enough. So yeah, I'm looking real forward to it. But we're gonna bring Pops back in because we still do got a whole live to do. You know, talk about PBC on Amazon. You know, shout out to everyone. It's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Pops, I still see Angelo.